Hello, it is April 4th. Oh my gosh, it's already April 4th, 2026. My name is Silamina Rios. Hold on. Have some warm tea. And I am coming to you from the Detroit metro area. I don't live in Detroit. I live just outside of Detroit in Michigan. And a little bit about myself. I am currently working on my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Interdisciplinary Art and Design. And I have my minor in art therapy. I'm currently working on my junior thesis, and junior thesis is a one semester course we take. It's a 6 hour studio, and it serves, I believe, its purpose to have junior thesis and not being a full year is to prepare you for your senior thesis, which you do the full, your full academic senior year. I I'm doing a photo film slash oral history project that collects the stories from the people, from veterans who are justice impacted or justice involved. And the definition of that varies depending on really on who you ask. So justice impacted might be you've had some run-ins with the law, you've had to go to court, maybe you've been arrested, never been incarcerated, maybe you're yeah, that's really about it, I believe. Justice involved means maybe you're currently going through the court system, you're incarcerated, you're formerly incarcerated, um, and then some things that kind of overlap, impact, and involved is for veterans that went to court and instead of serving time, they instead of serving time in a correctional facility, the veteran served time in the military. Uh, Also included in these definitions are POWs and veterans who served while not a naturalized citizen, never was able to gain their citizenship for various reasons, including accessibility to that. It is hard to take citizenship classes when you are in combat. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Um, Also, POWs are in that. No, I don't have any POWs lined up to interview, but if you know one, let me know. Okay, and these are men, women, and those beyond the binary. So far, I've been able to do pre-interviews and then some other length of interviews with 3 individuals, all of them being men. Uh, they've served in the various branches of the service, Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force. You might hear the birds in the background. Spring is here. It's okay. Um, and the purpose of this is to explore the paradox of dual identity of individuals that fall, under these definitions, being justice impacted or justice involved. But it's not just to, hear those stories. It's not to sensationalize or glamorize or to give them pity. Okay. It is to humanize our experience here in this world, in this country. It is to hear the stories and maybe where systems have failed or society may have failed, or how different people are treated in different situations, and to hear the story from that person, that's their experience, not somebody else telling their story for them, right? um I'm sorry, I get like a little kind of emotional because all 3 of the people that I've interviewed, the men, I know them in various ways and capacities and from different parts of my life. The Marine is actually my ex-husband. I was married to for 21 years, and sometimes even after that long, you hear new things and you have a different perspective of what may have been a factor in a lot of things, right? Uh, the Air Force veteran, the airman, is a really good friend of mine that I met in 2019 when I was homeless in Eugene, Oregon, and he was pretty much homeless as well. and we met at a program through the VA called CWT, I believe is Certified Work Therapy, and we became just really good friends. And again, just the level of vulnerability in having the conversations. Pre-interview is very kind of intense. I'm not going to share any of that here right now. At this point, this is going to be kind of a school situation until I present, and then I'll make a little bit of it public, not the whole interviews or anything quite yet. The third person is somebody that I've come to know because of this project, and we are both involved in a national organization called Student Veterans of America. Like I said, he's a Navy veteran, like I said, and he does a lot of work with justice involved veterans. And I will share more of that at another time. And I was able to do pre-interview with him, and the portraits, like I have portraits of the other people or pictures. And another lengthier part of an interview recently in Chicago, where we were both at a conference called Veterans in Society. It's a biennial conference. I was invited to go. I went. I made some great connections. I made a connection with another justice involved veteran, also Navy veteran, and just got to learn a lot about people and people's work. It was amazing. But that's a whole other thing. So look up Veterans in Society Biennial Conference. It is a conference of the Veteran Studies Association. Give them a look. Maybe you don't know that your work falls into that. Maybe you can join the association and work and meet other people. Okay. So for my junior thesis, I'm actually, for one part of it, I'm waiting to hear back from the audio visual center at my school so I can make the display happen the way it's meant to be seen currently. But right now I have looked through all the pictures that I've taken and got it down to one per veteran. And I like black and white photography, so I do a lot of black and white photography. Yeah, I am shooting on a DSLR, but I edit the images. Oftentimes I edit them in color, and then I turn them into black and white, and then edit it more. I like to have a lot of texture and mood and emotion in my photos. I'll be honest, I don't really like shooting portraits. I really like to do more documentary style photographer, but portraits are different depending on who's taking the photo and who's defining it a little bit, right? I also like things to like capture your eye. I like them to be noticeable, like, whoa, look at that. Like, I'm kind of ridiculous that way, clearly. Uh, so these photos, again, they're black and white. They're being printed on archival photo paper. They're semi-matte. I didn't want anything glossy because in my experience or my viewpoint is that especially with black and white photos, that a certain light source can hit it and just like take away from the feeling of the photo, where if it's semi matte you still have a little bit of a sheen, but it doesn't take away. Like it gives what it needs to give, and you'll see when I make a video about it later, after that they're completed. I'm waiting for them to come back from the printers on campus. In the meantime, I've had the bookstore order me these really large gallery frames. I don't know how good these are seen here. Anyways, they ordered it for me. I am a veteran, and the educational program I'm on, it covers things that you need for your classes, within a reasonable amount of money. So I don't know if you saw, these prints are going to be 24 by 36 inches. So do the math. That's 2 feet by 3 feet. And I will be embroidering on them. Now, let me get a little bit more into that. I have done other photo projects, and this project is an extension of two of them, or it kind of combines two of them. One of the participants in this project was a participant in the first project, which was where I went into veterans' homes that also have a PTSD diagnosis. And when I mean also, it's because I have a diagnosis of PTSD. And I know what it's like to live with that and have a body that a mind that kind of betrays you, and then it starts to affect your body. So you can look really amazing on the outside. I know right now I don't look amazing. I'm wearing a concert t-shirt that's oversized, but hey, it's the morning. I'm drinking tea. I don't have anywhere to be today. I got to write a paper or finish up a paper that I've started, and I'm going to be working on that. But anyways, this project, as I went into the homes, I photographed them. It was black and white, and there was a poem that went along with it that reads more like a prayer. And it's just about the struggle, like, because these people always look, they're always neat and clean, and they look really good, on the outside, but I know on the inside they were struggling because I knew them all very personally. And I'm sorry if I start to get emotional, because these are emotional things. These are people and their stories, and they've allowed me into their lives in various ways. Okay. Sorry about that. Um, and then I did another project in my freshman year. I did another photo project, and it wasn't veterans. It was students at my peers at my school, young people that are my peers. And I'm like, hey, you know, we had to respond to something, and it was a response to Daniel Johnston's quote is, um, basically like he knows who God is and he knows the devil. And you know what? Let me look it up, because I want to do the quote correctly. I am using the Google. Okay. Daniel Johnston quote about the devil. Oh, he has so many. Daniel Johnston quote about the devil surely knowing his name. Okay. The quote is, I believe in God, and I certainly believe in the devil, and there's certainly a devil, and he knows my name. Daniel, rest in peace. So I responded to that, and it made me think. I am a person of Catholic faith, um, but I was also brought up and catechized when I was younger, by nuns and a priest that were at some point active in the Catholic social movement, but that's not for this conversation. I love Catholic iconography. Like, I find it just so beautiful and compelling. And when you read about the saints and uh you know and the apostles in the Bible too, which a lot of them, they're saints as well. Um they have complicated backgrounds, right? Like, none of them are perfect. None of us are perfect. We make mistakes, missteps. We do things. Sometimes we regret them. Sometimes we don't. But it depends on, I guess, where we're at in our life. Um, so what I did is I asked these five of my peers. I'm like, hey, can you post for me? This is my project. Um, Bring something that resembles something that people would, like a vice or a sin. And so I did that, and I turned, what I ended up doing was doing 3 layers, because I had them pose in different ways. The 3 layers, I layered 3 images on top of each other, so it's still them, but I don't have them in this part of my house to show you. And I've turned them into color negatives, and the 3 layers, they're just like layered on top of each other within Photoshop, and then I had them printed out on really good archival paper, and then I got gold embroidery thread and actually a gold needle, And I embroidered like the discus, the halo around them, because what is a sinner and what is a saint? And can you be both? Yes, you can be both, right? So combining the project with the original project that I had done when I had artist in residency at the Art Center in Corvallis, Oregon, combining the black and white photography and the storytelling, because I collected their stories. I didn't document them. I didn't write them down or record them, but I collected them in here and in here and made that amalgam of the poem slash prayer. So that work, like the oral history aspect, the black and white photography, getting to know them, and then the sinner saint situation, I'm kind of merging these two things together, collecting the stories, but this time actually collecting and archiving them, and doing the black and white pictures. And I'm going to do the gold embroidery again for one of the particular veterans in this project that I've already interviewed. It made him kind of emotional because the gold is twofold. It's not just the halo, but it's also like kintsugi, the Japanese art of like using gold to like mend things. I would like this to like heal and mend a part of these people's stories that maybe they didn't realize were still kind of eating at them, and it was just kind of like a, sometimes you get a little ache and you're like, oh, I don't know what that is, but whatever, that kind of thing. But it also, not gonna lie, kind of heals me a little bit. I have never been incarcerated. I mean, the only thing that's ever happened to me is I've had a warrant out because of a fix-it ticket, but nothing really like that. But I grew up visiting my grandfather in jail as a young child. He passed away when I was 14. He was a Korean War veteran, and he didn't really share stories with us the way my maternal grandfather did. So I always wondered, like, what did he experience that made that part of his experience? And this is a way of having other people be able to share their stories so that not just others know, but their family knows at some point. I am sort of working, and I mean sort of meaning because it's not like contractual or anything. I mean, my stuff will be housed at the Library of Congress with their Veterans History Project. And sorry. I find that to be very important because you think of the Library of Congress, you think of just like kind of neat, tidy things, stories that maybe are being told. Of course, the Library of Congress houses a lot of important information that shows the messiness that has been part of our 250-year history of when this country became what it is. It was a whole other thing prior to that. Um, Again, something not to talk about today. But I present in 10 days. I'm waiting to hear back from audiovisual at my school to make sure I can present it the way I want. And you're thinking, excuse me, what do you mean audiovisual? I have pictures, other pictures of these veterans from the time they're in the military, and then some of them more recent ones. Some of them there's also pictures prior to that. And part of their pre-interview is going to be turned into a video with those pictures and be displayed on an iPad with headphones. This is the plan. iPad with the stand with some headphones so that people can pick it up and hear them, look at them. This is why the pictures are so big. Look at them, look at their faces, and get to understand and like kind of interact with their stories. I will be traveling all summer. Well, not all summer. It'll feel like all summer for a month this summer, collecting these stories from San Diego all the way up to Tacoma, Washington, taking the Amtrak. And this project is costing me some money, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get some of my travel and expenses covered for me. But anyways, that's a something I need to do here shortly after after I finish this semester, because I'm behind in a couple classes and because I was sick for 2 weeks and in bed with fevers. But it's okay. I'm fine now. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in more about this project, just follow along here. Thank you for watching.